Welcome, Pros. In today's training, I'm going to chat with you about a very, very common issue, scoliosis. And real quick, most of you probably know scoliosis is when the spine isn't straight, when it's curved. And if you want to get kind of geeky and technical, which you definitely do not need to do to significantly help your students who have scoliosis, then what happens is, first of all, there's two different things happening. One is that the vertebrae are turned to the side. And when a vertebrae, sorry, the first thing is that it's tilted. So the vertebrae is going like this, it's tilted. And whenever a vertebrae is tilted this way, it turns as well. So you get a top to bottom turn, which is going to start to make the vertebrae go one way or the other. And it typically will go, the spine will go one way in scoliosis, and then very classically start to correct in the opposite way, not necessarily always. But when it tilts like this, one side of the vertebrae will go forward and one will go back. So you will see when you have your student in counter dog, this is one of the great examples of how counter dog is such a fantastic posture to assess our clients, to see what's going on with them. You'll see one side of the ribs in the back will be higher and one side will actually dip in, will be concave. So here's the picture that I shared in the group. You know what's extremely important to understand though? Everybody out there has at least a little bit of scoliosis. I mean, there's not a straight line in nature anywhere. And there's not a straight line in bodies. I do not typically talk to my clients about scoliosis. The client that I'm going to show you right now, the picture, I saw her from the side at first. I noticed the bulge in her back. And then I walked over and I looked at her standing behind her. And as I was standing behind her, I could see clearly that one side was higher, one side was lower, and I could see the actual curve in the spine, how it kind of went from one side to the other. Now, I didn't talk to her about that. I didn't talk to her about scoliosis. I didn't say, do you know you have scoliosis? You have scoliosis. I don't do that with my clients. It's very common that people come in and they tell me they have scoliosis, but I'm not going to do labels because I already know that everybody has scoliosis. And labels, I think personally, are something that many times, honestly, sometimes, I mean, I think a lot of times professionals use these to sort of create authority and legitimize themselves as someone in this position who knows something about them that they don't know, and therefore they can help them. Certainly not all the time at all, but why? And we also know for ourselves, when we hear something about ourselves, even something that we already knew, unless we bring it up, or especially something we don't know, if there's a label to it, it's another thing that we carry around sometimes, many times, that we're thinking about in ourselves. And why do any of that? So it's very, very rare that I'm ever going to use a label like that or ever talk to my client about that. And I don't need to. I don't need to. I can show them the picture. I can say, we want to move this in, or here's our goal, or see this, or whatever. But I'm not going to put a label on it. And that's why. And personally, I think that's unique. And I think it's really, really great advice. and probably ultimately it comes from my experiences with Mr. Iyengar. He wasn't saying, you see this, this is this, this is this. His whole thing was just put the body where it should be, straight up. So let's take a look at this picture again. Where's my cursor? Here it is. Let me share my screen. That's the one. Now, it's important to know this is a really good posture. What I mean is she is really extending back. This is not the first time that she tried this. This was a few repetitions after we got everything as good as we could get. She's got her arms are really active. Sure, you could say her feet are a little bit forward. That ultimately, that almost never matters if the feet are a little bit forward. It definitely matters if they're farther back, because then it's harder to get the spinal extension. But this is a really good pose. I already put the block on her buttock bones and had her push back. She is extending back a whole lot here. And compare that to this. Oh man, I moved the picture. You know what? Darn it, now. So let me go back here. Let me see if I can scoot it where it was. I don't know if, oh man, now I'm really messing it up. That is not what I wanted to do. And I am going to have to stop sharing. Sorry about that. I need to find this picture again and pull it back in because I literally deleted it. I don't think I can just undo that action. Ah, yes, I could. Okay. I'm good. Let me get back here. Sorry, guys. But unintentionally, I had them lined up really nicely before. Oh no, I just put the same picture on. Oh my gosh. Now I'm totally blowing it. So as I correct this and I stop sharing here, you're going to have a lot of clients with scoliosis. You're going to have a lot of clients who have a bulge in the spine, and maybe it doesn't have a curve like that. So it's interesting that this is scoliosis. At the same time, it falls in the generalized category of, when you see places where the spine is bulging up or it's kind of chronically outside of being stiff, right? So this client, she's not just stiff. This is not an issue of her just being stiff. It's not coming from that, because actually she's not that stiff. She has a good posture there. But what it is, and now this is kind of a little technical and medical sounding, but it really is. This is what we would call an aberration of the spine. This is an issue with the spine, and it is that kind of thing where these issues will typically get worse over time. And we have huge leverage to help our people with this kind of thing. This is so different than a client who's in counter dog and they're just stiff like this, right? That's just like keep on stretching, keep on stretching, keep on stretching. You're helping them with flexibility. That's massive. You're going to help them a lot. You're going to help them fix pain with that a lot. But, this is, she's flexible. She's flexible. And her spine pokes out right here. And that's not good. And if you check this, that's what I was looking for before, right? See if they're both gonna. Here's the before, here's the after. This is massive. Here's the before. That's not just a little stiffness. That is an issue with the spine. And as she gets older and she doesn't know about it, this issue is going to rule all of her movements, everything she does. If I taught her this posture just like this, and I didn't show her how to go from here to here, this posture would I mean, it's going to help her body, but it's not going to significantly transform this issue. And this is really, really awesome results here. And the way that I helped her get from here to here is I vigorously encouraged her to extend back more, and I gave her reference points. I put a block on her buttock bones, and I said push into the block. And as she pushed into the block, and I made sure that she was keeping her thighs firm and pushing the knees back, super crucial. If you let a student bend their knees while you're doing this, you are not going to get the result in the spine that I just showed you that we got. The legs have to be straight to actually connect to the spine and get the correct extension in the spine if you are going to restructure a pattern like this. So first I taught the posture really well. I made sure that she was extending back really to her maximum without the reference point of me taking it next level and honestly being aggressive in my, I think, compassionate, loving, easy to deal with way. And so then I took the picture. Once I saw what was going on, I took the picture so she could see. Then I took the block on her buttock bones, and I was extremely aggressive, not necessarily in my tone of voice, but I'm not just going to say push back in the block. She pushes back a little bit. I'm going to say push back in the block. Great, push more. Keep going. Any amount. You're doing great, but you can push more. Any amount. Push that block. Now, don't lose that. Keep that. Keep that. I'm literally seeing the spine going in. And I'm going like, this is fantastic. Just the counter dog is going to make a huge, huge difference for her. Keep that. Don't move that at all. Keep those knees back. Keep the hips back. Imagine the block is still back, still there on the buttocks. I walk around. I take my phone. I take a new picture. And then I walk up to her and I say, just like with what I did with y'all right here, here's that first picture. And now I'm going to point it out to her. I'm going to say, you see right here, this is an issue that we really need, you want to take care of, because it's not good. And this could end up causing you problems. And now look at the second picture. You've already hugely, dramatically moved the needle with it. And that is so empowering for her. I don't show her the picture at first. I want to see what kind of results we can get. Because if I put the block on her buttock bones and if I absolutely made sure that she was extending back to her complete maximum and I did not see a result there, I'm not going to take the picture again. I'm going to modify the posture. What am I going to do? What's the first thing I'm going to do for her? Yes. First thing I'm going to do for her is take her hands higher. And that in and of itself will start to help it be a whole lot easier for the spine to move in that very specific place when she extended back. And then I would take the picture there, right? So I'm going to wait until I figure out what gets the results. I'm going to take the picture. She has no idea what's going on. She just knows in this case that she turned up the physical exertion and extension in the pose a lot because she was already really extending back very, very well. And then visually, she sees the difference. And the first exposure, her first exposure to this issue, which is an issue, it's not good. We don't want that. We don't want her to keep getting older with that. Her first exposure to that is already succeeding. So she's empowered. Right off the bat, she's empowered. So you have counter dog. Counter dog is, of course, the place that we start. It is, of course, the place that we are assessing our clients. And from counter dog, I guess I'm going to show you. Okay, I'll show you this one. Once I showed her that, then, because see, my first job is to teach these clients to do a counter dog so well that when they walk out of my studio, I'm absolutely confident that they're going to do the posture to their best optimized potential. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to teach whatever I need to teach to my clients until I'm satisfied they can do it on their own. And as soon as they can, in almost every case, and for sure, a case like this, I'm going to put the rope around the top thighs and I'm going to pull them back. And that literally will move the back in. You're going to look at their buttock bones. You're going to make sure the buttock bones are equidistant from you. You're going to pull asymmetrically if you need to make both buttock bones the same distance from you. That means you're aligning their pelvis. Then the rope is on the top thighs. You pull the rope back, and now you are structurally moving the needle for her. And then your client relaxes. You just taught her how to be super active in it and really do it well and really, really get after it. Then when you're pulling the rope, they don't have to do all that stuff. They have to keep their legs basically firm. They have to keep their knees basically back, but they're not doing the work, they're receiving. And you will make a huge impact when you do that traction, which is why the next thing that you're definitely, not necessarily the next thing, but for sure, 100%, at some point in this session, unless this client is for some reason not qualified for this, you are definitely wanting to include this posture, downward facing dog, hanging on the rope. And when you do this posture, every single time we teach this posture, we are teaching it in a way that our clients are comfortable. If they're not comfortable for any reason in this posture, we are modifying it or we are not teaching it to them, because this should be a really comfortable posture. When your clients get in this for the very first time, they should literally go, oh my God, this is amazing. And then see the hips here? Can you see my cursor? The hips here? You are going to walk, you're going to stand right in front of that red bolster. You're going to look straight in line with their spine and their hips. You're going to look at the level of the top of the shorts. And you're going to see, is this side higher or lower than this side? This should be exactly a straight line, straight across. Same distance from the ceiling. And if one hip is slightly higher or lower, you see this white blanket? Now you can't see it on this other side. And this is actually kind of a weird picture, which I'm just noticing now. Because honestly, when you set this up, you want the white blanket to be symmetrical. So it shouldn't be higher on this side to where we can't see it on this side. This is something I never caught before. And honestly, it's not a big deal because I know for sure that the blanket is supporting the thigh, the femur, and the outer hip on this side as much as it is here. That's really all we care about. But if you have the blanket symmetrical on both sides, you're always going to have that. And I'm positive that this was symmetrical for me because I would have felt the difference. But the point is, if you look at the buttocks here, the top of the shorts, the highest point of these shorts, it's not really the buttock bones. The buttock bones are behind. The highest points of the shorts, and you see that one is higher towards the ceiling than the other. Then what you do is you walk over, you place your feet on either side of their ribs, you hold that blanket, and you scoot the blanket one way or the other to make the hips exactly level. Let me go back there so you can visualize that. Imagine the blanket was symmetrical and you could see this white part of the blanket over on this side too. You would stand with your feet on closer to the door than the arms. So you're straddling them over the ribs. And it's really helpful to know when you do this. I always put my hand on their low back and I say, you just stay right there. You're good. You don't have to do anything. Because a lot of times people will lift the head to look when you have the feet on either side of the ribs. And then you take one hand on the white blanket here, one hand on the white blanket here, and you just use that blanket to completely align the hips. When you have the pelvis aligned and you have them comfortable in this downward facing dog rope traction, you want to have them there for ideally 5 minutes. And the whole time it should be completely comfortable for them. And typically will be. This is a very, very easy posture to teach. Once you've figured out how to teach it, you know it for yourself. People love it. It's comfortable and it does not get uncomfortable. So they're really happy being there in the posture. And what's happening is you've realigned the pelvis and then they're getting this spinal traction. And the spinal traction is gentle. So it's not any kind of, intense thing where they like feel like their spine is getting traction, not at all. And so they can relax and they're leaning on the rope. And over time, you get a very, very positive effect with the extension of the spine. You are restructuring their spine here. You are structurally getting space between the vertebrae. You've got the pelvis exactly level. So sometimes when you get the pelvis level, it's like it almost looks like the spine gets a little more crooked, but that's what you want. You want the pelvis level, and if the pelvis is level and they're comfortable and they have a good lean and hang on the rope, then that spinal extension is realigning the hips. What are hips? I mean, that's just a weird word. It's really realigning the pelvis and the lumbar spine. Realigning, making those structures straighter and more aligned, more integrated in relationship to each other. At the same time, you're getting space between the vertebrae. And so with a client like this, you're going to send her home and you're going to tell her, and you know what, you're not going to have to tell her to do counter dog. You send these pictures, you text these pictures over to her, and she's going to do counter dog every single day. And she does have some low back pain, and it did help while she was in here. So it's a double whammy. She visually has these pictures of going like, you know how it is? Come on, think about it. If this was you, you'd be like, damn, I totally don't want that bump in my back. Honestly, the first hit is kind of a vanity hit. That's how human beings are, and that's all good. It doesn't matter at all. And then the second logical step is like, and I see what that guy's saying, like structurally that could mess me up. Probably has a lot to do with the pain that I have. So we have the personal motivation to fix the bump is really what it is, right? And the direct experience when I do that counter dog, it makes my back feel better. She's going to own this counter dog. She walked out of the studio, she owns that thing. And I guarantee she'll do it for the rest of her life. And she doesn't have to do it that much because she knows how to do it correctly. And then when she comes to see us, we do 5-minute hangs in the rope dog. And we know how profound that is. We are truly moving the needle for her. We are helping her restructure that issue. And in ideal cases, we are empowering her to set that rope set up for herself at her home. Whether that's you having a rope set up that she can purchase. That's what I do. I've got these setups here, right? And I actually, in the picture here, I'm using one of them. This is why this one is a single rope. In my studio behind me, you can see my rope setups are doubled up. It's like a double rope. But this is just a rope. I guess I can't zoom in on this. This is a rope and a carabiner and the webbing over the door, right? This is our classic rope setup. And so I'm gonna bust it out. I'm gonna show her, look, this is really, really easy for you to do. You can buy this from me right now and take it home, or you can go get this stuff and put this together. And for my clients who don't want to buy it from me, I will literally take the carabiner, the webbing, and the rope, and I will put them on the floor and I will take a picture of them. And I'll include that picture in the pictures of her in the postures to make it super easy so she remembers exactly how to get that set up. If we can empower our clients to have the setup and put it together at home, or have the setup and bring it back to our studio, put it together above a door, So we've got the rope the right length, and they've done it. They're going to put a blanket there. Then they're going to do this, especially when they're in pain, or that percentage of clients who really is proactive with their health. They're going to do this, and it's easy, and they can travel with it, and it will really change their life, honestly. This is, there's a yoga sutra: future pains can and should be avoided. Hanging in rope dog will do that. Counter dog will do it. Just counter dog will do it. But for people like this, where they literally have this aberration in the spine, we really want to help them by empowering them to do the hanging rope dog on their own, knowing how to do it, being able to do it, and helping them get used to it and helping them feel super comfortable in it. So it's a very fast setup for them, and they do it. So thank you for being here today. Hit me with any comments below this. Hit me with any comments in the community if you have any questions or any feedback on this. Try it. Help your students with scoliosis with this. You will truly change their lives, and it's easy. It's really easy. Cheers.